Welcome to Unit 9. In 9.1, we're going to learn that there are exponents that can be negative as well as 0. All right, so let's start with some fractions. Right, the base is the fraction here, and the little number is called the exponent. Let's make sure we know that. And 3/4 to the first power is 3/4. 2/5 squared, right, is 2/5 times 2/5, right? Multiplying fractions. You multiply the tops, you multiply the bottoms, you're done. 4/25. 1/2 cubed is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So this is 1/8. Now, please make sure that you wrote those bases in parentheses. If you write this, that's 1 times 1 times 1 over 2. That's still 1/2, right? You need those parentheses. That's not what we were doing, right? We're not doing 1 to the third power over 2. We're doing 1/2 cubed, 2/5 squared, 3/4 to the first, okay? When you have negative bases and you have fraction bases, you need parentheses around them. All right, reciprocal, also known as the multiplicative inverse, right? We flip it over, right? And make sure you didn't write that those are equal, because those are not equal. You can put a space between them, a comma between them. They are reciprocals. Reciprocal of 1/4 is 4, right? It is 4 over 1, but 4 over 1 is 4. The reciprocal of 8 is 1/8. The reciprocal of 1 is 1. We're going to use that today. Okay, so right, hopefully we know that 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, 125. 5 squared is 5 times 5, 25. 5 to the first is 5. But what are the answers to the rest of these? Turns out they are reciprocals, not negative. You would think maybe the answers are negative. They are not negative. They are, in fact, reciprocals of the positive version. That is, all right. And then we'll figure out what 5 to the 0 must be if it's in the middle of all those. All right, so negative exponents create the reciprocal of the positive exponent. So it says rewrite the power as an equivalent expression with a positive exponent. So we're going to write 8/3 to the first. Now 8/3 to the first is 8/3, but that's on the screen, that's what we're doing. All right, so the reciprocal of 1/7 is 7. And so this is equal to 7 squared. Right? So you flip over the base and you change the negative exponent to a positive exponent. Yeah, both of those equal 49. Both of them. So this is 1/9 squared, right? Which is 1/9 times 1/9. Both of those are equal to 180 over 81, 181st. So what does that equal? Well, it equals 1 over x squared. Let's look over that. That's 1 over x times 1 over x. It's also 1 over x squared like that, but this is really what I was looking for here, right? Because 1 times 1 is 1, and x times x is x squared, multiplying fractions. But it's the reciprocal of it with a negative exponent. All right, so now you're not simplifying, or we're evaluating. So this is equal to 5 cubed. That would be it rewritten with a positive exponent. But now we're going to evaluate it. It's 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. Yeah, 1/5 to the negative third power is a big number because we have to make 1/5 its reciprocal. If you have 1 over a million to some negative exponent, all right, that would be a huge number because it would turn into a million. It would turn to a million to the fifth power, which is a million times a million times a million times a million times a million. Yes. So fractions with a negative exponent make very large numbers. So 6 to the negative second power. Yeah, and you don't say negative squared. 6 to the negative second power. By the way, I said the last one negative third power. Yeah, squared and cubed are for positive exponents. So 6 to the negative second is 1/6 squared, which is 1/6 times 1/6, which is 1/36. So if you have a big number, 6 isn't that big, you make small numbers, right? Because it's all about reciprocals. So this is 6/5 squared, which is 6/5 times 6/5, which is 36/25, and that's simplified, so you can leave it that way. So this is 6 to the negative third, which is 1/6 cubed, which is 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6, which is 1. 6 times 6, 36. We just did this in another unit. And yeah, 1/216th. Yeah, 6 to the negative third power is the fraction 1/216, 1/216th. Now, it turns out anything to the 0 power equals 1. X is 0, doesn't matter what x is, will always equal 1. Now, I want you to do all three of these and make sure you know that they have three different answers. Right? 6 to the 0, 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. 6 to the first, 6. 6 to the negative first is 1/6, right? You can skip this step. It's 1/6 to the first, which is 1/6. Same thing here. It doesn't matter that this is 12. That's 1. 12 to the first is 12. 12 to the negative first, 1/12. It makes the reciprocal. So when you have multiple negative exponents, you're going to switch the positions. We're going to flip it over. So let's see that. So this will go up there and become 3 squared. This will come down here and become 8 squared. It says evaluated, so we're going to keep going. 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. All right, so anytime something has a negative exponent, it's going to switch where it is and become a positive exponent. You could work it all out. It's doing the reciprocal. All right, so now careful. The 4 squared stays, right? Do not switch numbers and powers with positive or 0 exponents. It's only negative exponents. So now that flips up there. What do you put down there where everything's gone? Hopefully you realize 1. So then you're going to do 4 squared is 16 times 3 over 1. 16 times 3 is 48. This is 48 over 1, or 48. So please be careful in the homework. It's really easy to start flipping everything. Only things with negative exponents. All right. So the 5 stays where it is. It's got no negative exponent. The 2 comes down here and becomes 2 cubed. Everything's gone from the top, so you put a 1 there. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So this is 5 times 8, which is 40. This is 1/40th. All right, 6, everything to the 0 power is 1. 9 to the negative second goes up there and becomes 9 squared. We get a 1 down there because everything's gone. Well, 9 squared is 81. 1 times 81 is 81. 81 over 1 is 81. So same thing here. So that first one becomes 1 over 11 to the first. Right? And that's times 3 squared, which is in the numerator, right? Every number is in the numerator unless you write it in the denominator, because it's every number is over 1. So let me do that. And so 3 squared is 9, right? We're just multiplying across. 11 times 1 is 11. This is 9/11ths. So not everything to 0 power is 1. So 9 to the 0 is 1. Then this becomes 1 over 12 squared. Well, that's 1. I don't need that. 1 over 144. Right? 3 to the negative second power is 1 over 3 squared times 6 squared. That's what this is. Right? The 6 squared stays where it is because it doesn't have a negative exponent. The 3 squared flips down. So we get 6 squared, 36. 30 squared is 9. We have a little more work to do here because 36 divided by 9 is 4. Okay, now let's see if you really understand. Right? If you had 7 to the negative second, you went 1 over 7 squared. Same thing here. So 1 over negative 7 squared. All right? You keep negative bases would stay negative. Negative 7 times negative 7, 1/49th. Yeah, that's tricky. Negative bases stay negative. Positive bases stay positive, right? The only thing, it's making reciprocals. It's not making negative numbers or opposites or anything like that. All right, so the 5 stays. The negative 2 comes up here and becomes negative 2 cubed. Negative 2 cubed is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 8. So 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. All right, let's practice this. This takes practice. So do these. So 3 to the negative first over 7. The 7 stays. The 3 to the first comes down here. We get a 1 up there. This is 1/21, 1 over 21. Second one, we get 3 to the negative second times 4. The 4 stays where it is, but this becomes 1 over 3 squared, right? You can write it like that. So this becomes 4/9, right? The 4 doesn't have a negative exponent, so it stays where it is. It doesn't matter what x is here, but I'll write it anyway. 3 to the 0, and then y is 4, so it becomes that over 1, because everything's gone. 3 to the 0 is 1. 1 times 4 squared is 16. 16 over 1 is 16. All right, so now we have a 5 there. That stays where it is. Then we have 1 over x to the 4th, and x is 3. Let's write that. X is 3. And x is 3, and we're going to the 4th power with that. And the y stays where it is, 4 squared. So we have, on the numerators, we have 5 times 16. On the denominator, we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 9, 27, 81. And 5 times 16 is 80. Now, I did that in my head, right? Because I can do 16 times 10 in my head, right? 160. The 5 times table is always half the 10 times table. So I can do half of 160 in my head. And this is 80/81. Careful, that 5 is not part of that. 5 is not part of the base of that. That's a coefficient of that base. And so negative 7/9 to the 0 doesn't matter what it is, it's 1. All right, good luck with the homework.